Hey, Mr. Woody, I think I'm gonna buy a house that I just saw. Got some damage to the roof. Should I buy it or... And that's what we're gonna talk about on Ask Woody Wednesday.
What happens when you find the ideal house? I mean, this is your dream home, but coming to find out, the roof might have some existing damage. Is that something that sends you running in the opposite direction, or something that you're not too worried about, you can kind of problem solve through?
You don't even like this house. You never liked it. I love this house.
You see, there's a lot of buyers out there that are in the market for really just a turnkey situation. They don't want to have to deal with a lot of problems that a previous owner had. But what about the folks that maybe watch a little too much Fixer Upper? The question is, should a faulty roof scare you off? And why or why not? To be honest with you, I am definitely no expert in this arena, so I kind of went through my database on my phone and asked several real estate agents and realtors, as well as several roofers that I know and trust, what their take on it was and what their opinion was. I'm just gonna read some of the responses here to my inquiry. Listen, as for the roof, I wouldn't say run away immediately. Depending on the type and severity of the damage, there are, certainly extra steps that I would want them to take with the inspection process. Getting a roofer that they trust to come and assess the damage is super important, but I wouldn't say roof damage is a deal breaker. The next one is LOL. The real answer is it depends. It depends on the price, if they have the ability and finances to repair it on their own, if they have, knowledge, if they're getting the roof inspection done. Yep, so, and then a roofing company that I know and trust very well, they basically said that, having roof damage isn't something that should turn you off from buying the home. It's definitely gonna be a point of negotiation. In fact, probably one of the largest ones. I would strongly recommend getting a licensed roof inspector, if not a roofing company that you know and trust, to really assess not just the structural damage that the typical home inspector is gonna kind of look at, but also much broader than that, the extent of the damage, the internal stuff. Because one thing to remember about a roof is, just because there's just a little bit of damage, maybe on the exterior, on the surface, doesn't mean that there isn't a lot of other things going on kind of below the surface and behind the scenes that could cause some later issues. All of that data and information is going to be extremely useful when you're going back to negotiate with the person selling the home. Well, what about if the roof is just plain old? I mean, the crazy thing to think about is if a house was built in 1990 and it still has the original roof, that roof is 28 years old. There aren't a lot of roofing materials that have a life expectancy of 30 years plus. So a 28-year-old roof, well, my friends, is just plain old. And there are a limited amount of insurance carriers that want to write a new business policy on a roof that old.
You cannot pass!
Especially at full replacement cost, because the likelihood that it's just going to completely cave in and collapse if someone sneezes on it is probably pretty high. If you have an old roof or obviously a damaged roof, that's going to be a problem for you, the buyer, to get insurance. If the seller, files a claim because they want to get the roof replaced by their insurance before they move, so you can sell it to this person, and then you go and move into a new house. So when you go to get that new policy, guess what? You have a claim on your history now that's gonna follow you around for at least the next 5 years. So bottom line is, if you're out in the market and you're looking for a new home and you come up upon one that has some roof damage, it's not the end of the world. Make sure that either the seller replaces the roof or you negotiate the price well enough to replace it yourself. So over a year, I have been doing these Ask Woody Wednesday videos with the main purpose of providing you with the information that you need or may need in the future to empower you through the entire insurance process, whether that is purchasing new insurance, going through a claim, or that is just passing along this information to a neighbor that has a question. Folks, I am here. I have a passion for educating you and empowering you. I thank you so much for watching any and every episode that you've ever watched here. If you ever have a question, don't hesitate to call, text, email, message, send up a smoke signal, turn on the bat sign, whatever. Every single week, I'm here answering your insurance questions, or most importantly, the insurance questions you never knew you needed to ask. Have a wonderful week.